Welcome to the most exciting part of using the link solution. So far, you've created individual GPT units that carries out different functions. Now, by using the deploy API function, you can connect independent and individual GPTs to fully automate the entire workflow. So if you remember back, we first created a classify GPT unit where we categorized Amazon customer reviews of a microwave purchase into either positive or negative reviews. Then we created a generate GPT unit where we created tailored messages in response to either negative or positive responses. At this point, each of these units are independent units that we have to work with separately, but by using the deploy API option, we can connect these units together to automate the entire workflow. So first click on the deploy API tab on the left menu sidebar. Then on the right top corner, click the deploy API button. There are several different features on here, but for time's sake, I'm only gonna explain the options that you'll need for this assignment. Since we are trying to automate your workflow, we will click on the Work Automation API type. Once you do, it'll ask you to name. I'm gonna say Amazon Customer Flow. Then on the bottom, you'll see a select unit list. So it'll show you all the units that you've created so far. And from this list, you'll choose the units that you would want to connect. So again, we want to connect the classify GPT unit and then the two generate units that we created to write tailored messages. Simply click on these options, then click on deploy now. This will take you to a new page. On the top, you'll see the title that you just gave. Again, this is the API type is work automation. Again, the name, you don't have to worry about reflect history for now. You can see that it is a draft right now. Once you finish creating your API and click deploy, this will turn green. And please note that once it turns green, you will not be able to make any edits. If you want to make any changes, you will have to start over again and create an entirely new API. So before you click deploy, please make sure that this is the very final version you would like to use. Now, you'll always see white boxes. The first box will always be there, and this is not a GPT unit. This entry point box is where the external input information gets transferred into our GPT unit. So again, if you can remember, the external data we need is the customer reviews, right? And we previously set that input one would be customer review. And another information that needs to come in externally is the customer's name or ID, which we set previously as input two. So this is an entry point of where the data comes in. So again, every time you make a new API, you will always have this entry point for data to be able to come through into your GPT model. The rest are the units that you created. So as you can see in the title, the first is the classify unit, where we are categorizing reviews into positive and negative review. Again, input one is the customer review data. The third and the fourth boxes are the generate GPTs we created. And these will write tailored messages to either negative or positive responses. And the fun part is that you can click on the box and move it around in any way you want. So for now, I'm going to kind of visualize it this way because it just makes more sense to me. So then how do we connect these units together? It's simple as this. You click on the circle, and you connect it to the next box. Now, once the input of the review goes in, it'll either be categorized as positive or negative reviews. So when it's a positive review, you connect it to a Generate GPT that writes tailored messages in response to positive reviews. When it's a negative review, you simply connect it to a negative review GPT. And here again, the input should be the review content and the customer ID. So make sure this is set correctly. And same here, customer review and ID. So as simple as that, you are done creating your API to automate the entire workflow. Well, now how do we know if this is actually working? It just looks like boxes right now. Well, that's why we created this test option for you, where you can test out whether the thing you just built actually works. So I'm going to go back onto the Amazon website, just copy paste a bad review, a negative review, right? The worst product. So in the input one, again, where customer review goes in, I'm just going to copy paste this. And I want to make sure I get this person's ID, name, and simply click execute text test. And in a few seconds, we see that your GPT is writing a test tailored message to your customer and saying, thank you for being a valuable customer. And we apologize for the inconvenience, that we appreciate the feedback. We will try harder. So as you test, you can change this around. You can go back to your units and change around the system message, your prompts, and constantly update and come back here and test. Once you find that perfect version of the API that you want to use, simply scroll back up to the top, click save, then click deploy. Again, there's a message saying that you cannot modify the API after deployment. Okay. It says deployed and it's released. So now you have an API, you have a GPT model that fully automated your entire workflow of responding to Amazon's customers.